Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. We start the meeting out with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. And where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. We know that you are with us at all times in all places, if only we turn to you in faith. And so we turn to you now, seeking your continued blessings on those of us who have chosen public service, as well as those members of our community who are with us tonight, joining us in our deliberations and decision-making. We ask that you would give all of us patience and the commitment to respect and to listen to each other. Loving Creator, we pray all these things in the name of Jesus and all that is holy. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the roll call, please?
Peter Hogendijk.
Present.
Danny Wilcox. Van Sands.
Here.
Dwayne Owens. Eric Carlson.
Here.
Mike Buck. Here. Roger Burton.
Here.
Kevin Kirkwood. Deanna Schott Grace. Thank you.
Okay. We need everybody to turn off their cell phones, or at least mute them. And I'll do mine right now. Okay, do we have a staff report on the County Commissioner's actions?
Not that I'm aware of, yeah.
Okay. We don't have anything on the consent agenda.
Oh, well, for the Board of County Commissioners, we had the hearing last week for the Buffalo Ranch, Prairie View Buffalo Ranch, and it was approved. So,
Got the well taken care of. Or you did. You said you were going to.
sorry, the applicant repurposed the commercial well back to residential and then got a new commercial well permit approved. So now he has two different wells, one for the residents and one for his proposed business.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this point in time, if any citizens would like to make some comments that are unrelated to what we're hearing tonight, something in addition, you've got an opportunity right now to do that. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the meeting minutes. Okay, the first one was the January 24th meeting. Were there any comments or any changes to that? No? Okay. And I would like to hear a motion for approval on the January 24th meeting minutes.
I move approval as presented for the January 24th meeting.
Okay, the motion was by Roger and the second by Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So approved. And now we have a there was a second one in here.
February 7th.
Yep, February 7th. And were there any modifications or changes to that one? None? Okay. I entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion by Van and second by Diane. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the public hearing process, and this requires the Planning Commission to conduct a quasi-judicial hearing, which means that we must first find facts and base our decision upon the application of the adopted regulation, standards, and criteria, and the competent, substantial, and material evidence received during this hearing. So I'm going to open the public hearing on the old Sawmill Ranch, and if you would like to do the presentation for us. Let's have a
Peter?
presentation.
Peter,
Let's update the, can we update the roster?
sorry, I couldn't hear.
Can we update the roster as far as attendees? Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do you want another roll call?
No,
Or
just
just update?
put
Okay.
on,
So Diana? Deanna? Thank you. Present.
I've said that wrong.
Peter, with your permission, we forgot to tell everyone that's here, if you'd like to make public comments, please, we have a sign-in sheet over there. Go ahead and add your name to the list.
If anybody does want to make comments, you've got 3 minutes for each person to make their comments.
Well, Mister? With that, I'll present the old Sawmill. Well, I'm Laura Granja, land use planner with Elbert County, Community and Economic Development Department. I'll be presenting this evening the old Sawmill Ranch rezone, case number RZ-22-0032. The applicant is requesting approval of a rezoning from agriculture to agriculture residential for 10.1 acres and a rezoning from agriculture to agriculture 2 for 32.2 acres of a property located at the northeast corner of North Elbert Road and County Road 7482. The property has 42.3 acres total. The landowner is Brent Gale. The applicant representative is Andrew Horib. And we have an administrative minor plat that is being reviewed concurrently with this rezoning process. The case number for the minor plat is MP 22-033. The minor plat is to create one 10.1 acre lot and another lot with 32.2 acres. 32.2 acres. The minor plat is not a part of this hearing tonight, only the rezoning process. The pre-application happened back in 2021, community meeting, application submittal in 2022. The referral process happened in 2022, and we are here tonight for the Planning Commission hearing, and we'll be bringing this application to the Board of County Commissioners on May 24th. The noticing was completed in accordance with the county regulations. Here's the general location for the property, northeast corner of North Elbert Road and County Road 7482. A general zoning map showing where the property is located and the zoning. It's currently zoned agricultural. You're going to see that there is a small portion of the property located within the floodplain. That does not impact the proposed rezoning or the minor plat. The two lots being proposed with the minor plat are buildable lots. You are going to see that they are around 0.5 miles distance from the closest 10-acre lot. Here is also a around 10-acre lot subdivision, and they are close enough to Rocky Mountain Vipassana PUD and Boy Scouts of America. Here's an aerial map for you all to see how the property looks like. Again, it's a 42.25 acre property. Here's the proposed rezone exhibit. the vicinity map. This is the proposed Lot 1 to be rezoned to AR. The access is off of County Road 1724. This is the proposed Lot 2 to be rezoned to A2, and they would have access with this access and utility easement coming off of County Road 1724. We sent this application out for referral. We had multiple agencies respond back. The applicant has acknowledged and resolved all comments raised during the referral process. The main one was the Division of Water Resources that first asked for more information. The applicant talked to the Division of Water Resources and got their water issue figured out. They have appropriate water supply coming off of the Lower Dawson Aquifer for the proposed 2 lots. And there are no outstanding comments for this application. Article 3C4 of the zoning code lists 6 criteria for the commissioners to consider, and the criteria are A, whether the proposed rezoning conforms and it's generally consistent with the comprehensive plan. The proposal conforms and it's generally consistent with the goals and policies of the comp plan. The community resources topic area policy WS4 states that new development shall conform with state laws covering domestic water supply, and the applicants got a letter from the WR stating that they have a sufficient water supply for the proposed subdivision. In addition, the natural resource topic area states that new development should minimize negative impacts to adjacent agricultural lands. This proposal, it's for a rezone from agriculture to A2 and AR. Those are the other 2 categories within the agricultural context for our comprehensive plan, keeping the properties for its primary use still as agricultural. B, whether the proposed rezoning is compatible with the surrounding land uses. The subject property is in a sparsely populated county area, and the closest 10-acre property is around 0.5 miles distance. And staff believes that the proposed use of 2 single-family residential units are appropriate and compatible with surrounding land uses. Whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the provision of public services. Public Works reviewed this application and stated there are no expected impacts and no additional improves were found to be necessary for this application. D, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the environment. Staff believes the rezone will not adversely impact the environment. We had Public Works, Public Health, and the Division of Water Resources reviewing this application, and they had no objections to it. Whether the proposed rezoning would create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. Again, Public Works reviewed this application, and there are no improvements found to be necessary. And then whether the proposed rezoning will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. Staff believes that the rezone request to A2 and AR will not be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare, as no critical concerns were identified or raised during the plan review process. With that, CED recommends that the Planning Commission find the following. 1, the proposal is in general conformity with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. It meets the criteria for the approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. The proposal is compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. The proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the county residents. Therefore, CED recommends the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the requested Old Sawmill Ranch rezone oh, sorry, RZ-22-032, subject to the following conditions. One, the applicant will remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of a decision by the BOCC. The rezone shall not become effective until fees are paid, conditions of approvals are met, and the rezone exhibit is recorded. 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of the board approval. And 4, we would need the recordation of the minor plat for this rezoning to become effective. Thank you. With that, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you, Laura. Is the applicant here? Would you like to add anything to what was said? Yes. If you will step up to the podium, make sure that mic is turned on and it shows green at the bottom of the column there.
Cool. Yeah, my name's Andrew.
Your name and address, please.
Yep, Andrew Hariba, and it's 7333 County Road 74-82, Elbert, Colorado. So yeah, me and my wife are wanting to build our home for us and our children on my father-in-law's property. He is the owner of the Whistle Stop Ranch, which is just, of course, on the other side of that border there. And so with purchasing this, he wanted us to still be able to have a house, but also be able to maintain the things that make Elbert great to us and our family. That's about it. We really appreciate your guys' time and consideration, and hopefully you guys recommend for the approval once it gets to that point.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'll sign in here.
Are there... You didn't have to do that because you're the applicant. That's okay. Would anybody else like to comment on this? Okay, hearing none. Public comment is closed. And we're going to open a board-only discussion.
Yeah, Eric Carlson. I have a question. When Colorado Division of Water Resources, page 39, and someone just help me if this is a typo. It says it feels it meets the water demands 300 gallons per day for one household, but then it lists just 10 gallons per day for the watering of 6 head of livestock. That's got to be wrong. 6 head of livestock is going to drink more than 1.4 gallons of water a day. So how do we address that?
That's a good question.
What page?
Page 39.
I remember seeing that. So.
Eric, page 39 of which document?
The 117 page doc, what's the title? Doc 05-16-2023, the PDF that was provided to us.
Oh, we have the formal application. For the formal application there, we have the first proposed document that the applicant submitted, and then just in February, we received the new water letter from the Division of Water Resources. So this is the most current information we have that supersedes any previous letters.
We can agree with that. We can agree with that, but the issue is the 10 gallons a day for the livestock.
It says in,
day for watering 6 heads of livestock.
no, the state put in it. The state said, put it in the letter. Does that impact rezoning? Does that impact rezoning?
I've got horses that will drink 10 gallons
Yeah,
a day.
does that impact rezoning?
One horse alone.
I understand, but the thing is, all we're looking at is a rezone of the property.
That comes up in the other
Okay,
part.
this comes into play
With the,
with the minor.
Minor plot.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I mean, really what we're looking at is something from the state that dictates, you might want to look at this with the state and ask them, okay, do you expect this? I don't know how many animals you expect to have, but.
I got these numbers from when I talked to Division of Water.
Okay,
They had like their own, you know, when I asked them like, how do I say how many gallons of water a horse will drink, you know, horses different than goat, right?
are you planning on having horses or goats on your property?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you might want to check with the state and see if this is a typo or if this is actually what they,
Yes, sir.
okay?
What they expect, yeah.
Before you come to on your minor, all right? Because right now, all we're looking at is a rezone, and all we're considering is rezoning the property. Okay, so, but it's gonna come up in the minor plat, okay?
Yes, sir.
Laura's making notes over there, so
You got it?
it'll be covered. Okay. Any more? Dan? Okay, this is the only one I didn't have any comments on. So, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Move that we approve the ranch rezone RZ 2200.
Can't approve. You have to give the county commission a recommendation.
Right, it's a motion for approval from us to pass it on to them. So
Just say we
that's
recommend.
appropriate.
We recommend to approve.
Right.
Okay, how about that?
Do I have a second?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's that.
Okay. Deanna's motion and Eric's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we're closing the public hearing on the Old Sawmill Ranch and open the public hearing on the Silver J Ranch rezone, case RZ 22-18334. And would you like to do the staff presentation on that one, please?
May I? Well, now I'll be presenting Silver J Ranch Rezone, case number RZ-22-18334. I'm presenting the upcoming three land use cases on behalf of Stephen Hayes, the case manager, and I'll do my best to respond to the questions you guys might have. This is a request to rezone a parcel on Highway 86 from agriculture to residential agriculture and agriculture 1 to agricultural 2. It's on Highway 86, location 4449, State Highway 86, to be more precise. The applicant is Michael Barney and landowner is Mr. Jones. This is a concurrent review with a minor plat, MP-22-18817, that's going to be reviewed administratively. Application was submitted in 23, and we're having the public hearing today for the Planning Commission, and it should go to the Board of County Commissioners on June 14. Noticing was completed in accordance with the zoning and subdivision regulations. Here's a general exhibit. We'll be talking about all of that during this evening, but now we are addressing this parcel here. Right now we have two parcels that are to be combined via minor plat into one, and then pending this rezone application rezoned. KZ Jones Park is to the north and to the west. We have here the town of Elizabeth, south of Highway 86 is a residential, we have a residential areas, and then east of the subject property is also residential areas. We have Forest Park subdivision directly to the east of the subject property. Here you can see the property is heavily, has a heavily wooded area there. The zoning map shows the property. Right now we have it here, zoned RA1, and this RA1 properties has 6 acres, and then the 15-acre agricultural zoned property. It's currently a non-compliant property. That's one of the reasons for this combining to the south property and then rezoning it all to A2. With that minor plat, the total acreage of the property would be around 21 acres, and the proposed rezoning to A2 would allow the property to have a minimum lot size for 20 acres, and that would all match. We had diverse referral responses for this application. The referral agencies did not object to the rezoning request, and we have 6 review criteria according to Article 3C4 of the Zoning Code, and the 6 criteria are whether the proposed rezoning conforms to and is generally consistent with the goals and policies of the county, under 3 vision, goals, and policies section of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. Oh, what is my mouse? Here. Elbert County supports residential development by encouraging a diverse range of lot sizes, and by encouraging the designation of open space, and the preservation of areas of visual, historic, and natural consequences. The applicants are combining and rezoning to keep the property as it is, basically, and preserve the wooded area, matching those guidelines from the comprehensive plan. B, whether the proposed rezoning is compatible with surrounding land uses. The rezone request is compatible and maintains the open area that abuts the Forest Park subdivision to the east. C, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the provision of public services. This rezoning does not impact the provision of public services. No additional residential areas or accesses are being proposed here. Whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the environment. Again, the applicant wants to preserve the wooded area, and it's not proposing any changes with this application. In addition to that, the proposed rezoning to agricultural was intended to discourage any future subdividing and not allow the creation of additional lots. Basically meaning with this rezoning, the minimum lot size would be 20 acres. They would have 21. For any potential further subdivision, they would need to rezone the property again. E, whether the proposed rezoning would create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the road system. There is no change in existing uses, no change in the existing driveway, and with that, no proposed change in the existing traffic to or from this site. Whether the proposed rezoning will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. The preservation of the wooded area and the rezoning to 20-acre minimum lot size through the agricultural district would not be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the county residents. With that, CD recommends the Planning Commission to find that the proposal is in general conformance with the comprehensive plan. It meets the criteria for the zoning regulations. It is compatible with the existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area, and the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents. Therefore, the Community and Economic Development Department recommends the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the requested rezone RZ-22-1A334 from ag and residential ag to agricultural 2, subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of approval. Fees should be paid, conditions of approval met, and the rezone exhibit recorded. And 3, the administrative approval and recording of the minor plat combining these 2 parcels together to occur within 180 days of county commissioner's approval as well. I conclude my presentation. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, is the applicant here? Would you like to make any additional comments?
Yes, please. My name is Gary Jones. I'm here for my father,
Your address, please.
4449 Highway 86, right next to Casey Jones Park. My father, Sherman Jones, would have been here, but he's 86, he doesn't hear real good. And so he was very frustrated that he couldn't be here. Obviously, my grandfather was Casey Jones. We have been on this property as a family. I am 4th generation. My son lives in the other house there, and his sons. So we have 6 generations on this property. We have been there 89 years. Sometimes you battle with family, and family is not great. But at least they listened to us on the rest of the land, and they did the right thing. They didn't sell it to developers. They sold it to Park and Rec, so that that park can be preserved as a park area. We want this agricultural for the same reason that she stated, so that we can save this property and it goes beyond us to my grandsons, children, and beyond. And that way it helps the community and Elbert County, and it preserves some history that we are all losing. So that's all I really have to say. Thank each and every one of you. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Do we have any anybody that would like to make any comments on it? Okay, state your name and address.
Okay, I'm Lisa Ann Huel. I'm at 34221 Forest Park Drive.
Okay.
And this property backs up to my property. And we are super excited that he doesn't want to develop it. He wants to ensure that it stays agriculture or open wooded space for us. We have a deer, we have wildlife, and Mike, Barney, and their crew have done a great job with the park that's adjacent to that property, as you see on there. It would be a blessing for us to try to save some of this land that is just, in our opinion, being way overdeveloped, way too quickly. I need to sign this, right?
You can put
Yes,
your
please.
name on there, please. Go ahead. Would anybody else like to make a comment?
Which one is your property? Can you point that out on the map just for curiosity?
You see it looks like the panhandle of Oklahoma?
Yeah,
Okay, we own 2 lots, and they literally back up to that little panhandle.
okay,
On Forest Park Drive.
thank you.
And I will say that Gary was nice enough, to put a gate, and Mr. Marnie allows us to, use we put a gate at our property, so we could go through Gary's property, he put a gate, so we could go directly to the open space. And we trail ride, I walk my dogs, I don't have to go all the way around, Casey Jones entrance to enjoy the park. So, you're still gonna do that, right? This is being recorded, right? I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. Mr. Barney has done, if you guys could see the park from when he got it, to what he's done now and what Gary is doing, it is such a blessing for our little town. It really is. It's our little piece of heaven is what we call it.
there are no other comments, we'll close public testimony on this and open board-only discussion.
Yeah, I'd just like to say one thing to you, okay? You're the reason I moved out here. A number of years ago, I was selling, I had a part ownership in a wind generator business. And either your grandfather or your father asked me to come out and see if we could put a wind generator up on your property. Well, it didn't fit because there's too much turbulence there from the wood and whatnot. And so we really didn't do anything. But I fell in love with this country, and we moved out here a couple years later. So, yeah, it probably was. It's been a long time ago, but it's 25 years ago. Anyway, yeah.
Just a couple comments. My wife and I volunteer with the Stampede, and we were delighted when we found out that the property around the arena has all been bought by the Parks and Rec, so we're excited about the whole thing. Thank you.
I have some comments about the package, because in looking at the package, we had some of the documents in the package were not complete. There were documents that were, I lost the thing here at the moment, but there were documents that didn't have, they were signed, but no notary signature on the land use agreement. There's the rezone exhibit that doesn't have the case number on it. There's a series of things like that where the packet was not complete or not the final documents. And we really need to see that, that sort of thing. Being able to see, for example, all the referral letters, all the, that type of thing. And these this particular package was fairly incomplete as far as I was concerned. There's more that should have been in the packet for us to review. Okay. But at any rate, with the discussion over, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval to the county commission.
All right. It's RZ 22-18334.
Right there, man.
With
There you go.
With all of
Yeah.
the, subject to the following conditions. Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Dan made the motion, Roger made the second, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's the first one. Okay, I'm going to close the discussion on the Silver J Ranch rezone. I'll close the hearing on it. I'll open the hearing on the Casey Jones Park rezone, case number RZ-22-18818. And if, Laura, if you'd like to make the staff presentation.
Sure, thank you. Now I'll be presenting the Casey Jones rezone, case number RZ-22-18818. This is a request to rezone a parcel on Highway 86 from residential ag to straight ag. The applicant is Michael Barney on behalf of Elizabeth Parks and Recs. And we have a concurrent review for this application for a special use by review, SUR-22-18819. That's going to be presented after this hearing. Application submittal and hearings are being done in 2023. BOCC is scheduled to happen on June 14, 2023, and the noticing was completed in accordance with the regulations. Here's the rezone exhibit for this proposal. We were just talking about this property over here that I'm pointing with my laser. Now we're talking about this one and the larger one. The subject property has 27 acres, and then this property to the north and west also belongs to Casey Jones, to Elizabeth Parks and Recs, and it has 78 acres, more or less. So this proposed rezone would be appropriate pending pending a deed adjoining those two parcels, because then we would have one property only with 105 acres, and that's appropriate for the agricultural district being proposed with this rezoning, since the minimum lot size for the ag district is 35 acres. Here's the same aerial map we've seen before. And here's the zoning map. So we're now talking about this 27 acre property to be rezoned to agricultural. This application was reviewed by a range of agencies, and we've got referral responses from all of those listed on the on the screen over there, and the referral agencies did not object to the rezoning request. According to Article 3C4, we have 6 criteria for the commissioners to consider for this proposed rezoning. First, whether it is in general consistence with the comprehensive plan. Again, under 3 vision, goals, and policies of the comprehensive plan, Elbert County strives to designate park lands and open space that are accessible to the public and protected from future development. Indirectly, this rezone will facilitate the park improvements proposed with the SUR. B, whether the proposed rezoning is compatible with the surrounding land uses. The rezoning request is compatible with the adjoining Casey Jones Park and maintains the park uses that exist in the area. Whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the provision of public services. The proposing rezone does not impact the provision of public services. There are no changes to the site being proposed together with this rezoning. It will indirectly impact the SUR we're going to discuss next and allow for additional improvements. D, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the environment. Staff believes it does not impact the environment. It indirectly facilitates the park improvements proposed under another application. And those improvements that will be discussed with the special use by review application that's coming up next would encompass installing a new septic system and adding some connections to the campsite. So basically, good improvements being made there. E, whether the proposed rezoning would create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. No additional driveway or access is being proposed with the rezoning. Again, it indirectly facilitates the SUR, and within the SUR, the applicant is proposing to add an emergency access for fire, primarily for fire, and that benefits the residents and the occupants from the park. Whether the proposed rezoning will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of Elbert County residents. The rezoning will allow additional park uses for this parcel, which is a benefit to the residents of the county, and again, facilitates park improvements. With that, CED recommends the Planning Commission finds the following. The application is in general conformance with the comprehensive plan. It meets the regulation criteria for the proposed rezoning. It is compatible with existing and allowable land uses surrounding the area and will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the requested Casey Jones Park rezone from residential agriculture, RA, to A agriculture. And this is the case number RZ-22-18818, subject to the following conditions. Remove public hearing sign within 7 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. All fees should be paid, conditions of approvals should be met, and the rezone exhibit should be recorded in 180 days. And the applicant needs to record a deed combining the two park parcels, so he would have 105 acres approximately. I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? Okay. Would you like to make any comments or additions to what was presented?
No, I don't.
So, do we have any public testimony on this? Anybody want to make any comments? Okay, hearing none, public comment is closed, and we'll open the board-only discussion.
The only comment I have is on the rezone and then on the next application, which kind of overlaps. The requirements indicate that there needs to be proof of water, and I know that there is a well on the property, maybe more than one, and there is water use, but we don't have anything in the packet from the Division of Water Resources.
Yeah, I'm sorry you don't have that available on the packet. The applicants do have 2 well permits for the Casey Jones Park. One is for the existing bathrooms only. They have existing bathrooms there for public use, for whoever is using the park. And that well can only be used for those 2 bathrooms, and they have another well that would be sufficient to the 26 campsites. They have 26 campsites right now, and they're proposing to keep the 26 campsites. And that well would be pulling water from the Denver aquifer.
And we do have approval for those in your packet?
Yes, Stephen was in touch with the Division of Water Resources to make sure the wells are sufficient for the proposed uses, with the special use by review being evaluated next by you guys.
Thank you.
Danny? Deanna? Okay. If the discussion is closed on the board, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I move that we recommend approval for RZ 22-18818. I have the right numbers there?
Yep.
Okay.
With the
Recommendation with the existing conditions?
Second.
Okay, Danny's made the motion and Roger has seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's approved. And we'll close the hearing on the Casey Jones Park rezone. And we'll open the hearing on the Casey Jones Park SUR. Case number SU-22-18819.
We're now going to hear the Casey Jones Park Special Use by Review, case number SU-22-18819. This is the request to approve a park and a campground, especially the improvements for Casey Jones Park on Highway 86. The applicant is Michael Barney, landowner, Elizabeth Parks and Recreation District. We're having a concurrent review with RZ 22-18818 that was just recommended for approval by the planning commissioners. This application was submitted in 2023. We're hearing it today in front of the planning commission, and we'll have the Board of County Commissioners hearing on June 14, 2023. Noticing was completed in accordance with the zoning and subdivision regulations. The SUR exhibit showing the subject, I always do it, the subject property for the Casey Jones. So now we have the entirety of the property that belongs to the Parks and Rec District. Here is the area where the park and the campground is located, the 27 acres that we just talked about. The zoning map over here. Here is the campground park improvements that are being proposed with this application. So no major changes are being proposed. Basically, infrastructural improvements to support the park as it is right now. So we have here, this is south of the property, we have Highway 86. I know it's kind of hard to see everything, and I have zoomed in image after, and I'll show you guys after that. But as general information, we have here the access coming off of Highway 86. It does this loop over here. If you follow my laser, we have all the 26 campsites located around the loop. Here is the proposed emergency access that's being added with this SUR. One other significant improvement is that the dump site is located close to the east property line right now, and the applicant is proposing to remove the dump site from here to, where is it located? Right up here, yeah, sorry, up here, and it will be screened with a wooded fence. The applicants have right now a sewer system. Here is the leach field. This leach field was deemed insufficient to the whole campsite. They're adding another leach field here east of the property to serve the campsites. The major comment we had during the referral period came from CORE. So CORE identified that existing campsites were located underneath the overhead power line. If you follow here my laser, this is the overhead power line. So with this proposal, the applicants are moving those campsites out of the utility easement there for the overhead power line for safety reasons. Let's see, they have, as I mentioned before, they have 2 well permits, one to serve the existing bathrooms that are in this area here, and the other one to serve the 26 campsites. They are also proposing widening and grading of the access and the loop to access the campsites. Here is the zoomed in image that I was talking about. So the dumpster is moving from the eastern property side here to more towards the interior of the property. Here is the secondary access. In red, we have in yellow all the campsites that had to move to accommodate Corps' request. They are right now underneath the overhead power line, and they're being moved out of it. The applicants are requesting, with this special use by review approval, to have a permanent host on site. This first campground to the left, when we enter the site, it would be a campsite that would allow for a camp host to live there for up to a year, whereas all the other campers can be there only up to 30 days per calendar year. This campsite would be dedicated to the camp host until a permanent residence for the camp host can be built here. So whenever the applicants build the permanent residency for the camp host, this campsite will be converted back to a common campsite that allows only for a 30-day stay. And whenever the applicants decide to build the permanent residency, they need to follow all the permitting requirements as any other. Those are all the referral agencies that responded during the referral period, and they have, all the concerns have been addressed by the applicant. Article 3E5 of the zoning code lists 8 criteria for the commissioners to consider, and those are A, whether the use is in harmony and compatible with the surrounding area and the neighborhood. The SUR request is compatible with the adjoining Casey Jones Park and maintains the park uses that exist in the area. Whether the use will not have an undue burden on available infrastructure. The infrastructure is being improved as part of this SUR, and better access through the campground, better access for emergency vehicles, and better sanitary facilities are being proposed with this special use by review. Whether the use will not unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the existing road system, so no change traffic or trips is predicted. CDOT has reviewed this application, and they are not requiring any changes at this time. Whether the use will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. So no nuisances are expected other than during the construction period. E, all sanitation requirements will be met. The SUR provides for hooking up some campsites to a central on-site sewer system, which will improve the sanitation in the area. The use will be adequately landscaped, buffered, and screened. So this SUR will not change the existing landscaping. What the applicants are adding is a screening to the new dumpster being proposed. They're adding a wooden fence around it. The use will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present and future inhabitants of Elbert County. The proposal will move the campsites that were considered hazardous by Corps due to the overhead wires to improve safety in the area. and the preservation of the park and recreation opportunities provides for, the opportunities this park provides for the residents is a benefit to the community. H, supplemental standards that are met for specific uses as applicable. We have the supplemental standard number 9 that talks about campgrounds, and this regulation states all campground structures and congregation areas must meet accessory setback standards. And the proposed camp host residence that I was talking about will meet the setbacks. With that, the Planning Department recommends the Planning Commission to find that the proposal is in general conformance with the comprehensive plan. It meets the zoning regulation requirements. It is compatible with surrounding land uses, and it will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, or welfare of the residents. Therefore, we recommend the Planning Commission to make a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners for Casey Jones Park SUR, case number SU-22-18819, subject to the following conditions. Remove public hearing signs, fees shall be paid, rezone exhibit recorded, and the applicant shall record a deed combining the 2 park parcels. Same conditions that we had for the previous hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. As the applicant, would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, a little on this one. This one's a little bit more in depth. So as you may or may not know, this campground has been in the park and operating since at least 2010, I believe. But it was never permitted at the time that it was built, and things were done differently back then, and that's where we are. And so we recently received a grant from GoCo to do some improvements to the campground, and so we've been working with the planning team, and they've been great helping us along over the last year and a half, almost 2 years to get to this point. And I just really think this will give everyone, it'll be a great project for everyone to get this done and improve the campground, improve the roads and access for fire and emergency services, improve the experience for the campers, and continue to have a pretty significant revenue stream operating for the Park and Recreation District, which helps us fund and all the other things that we do. So thanks, and I'm certainly going to answer any questions you guys might have.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
I will tell you that
Name and address again, please.
Sure. I'm Lisa Ann Hewell at 34221 Forest Park Drive. And we've been working with Mr. Barney on the master plan for this camp, or for the park itself. They originally were looking at expanding the campground further into the park, which in a lot of people's opinion would have been a little bit dangerous, would have taken away from the park experience, as well as for the campers as well. We know that Mike and his team have worked very hard to get this GoCo funding. At first we thought we were going to lose that because that was specifically for the expansion of the campground. And it is such a blessing that they are allowing Mike to actually use these funds to improve the existing campgrounds. As you notice, not on this map, but there's a lot of residential homes that back up to this park. And camping, the purple there, and then even the yellow up on top, that's Bonnie Ridge. A lot of us have horses, we have cattle, we have goats. We live in a rural area, or at least for now we do. And it would be very difficult for us to vacate our animals in the event there were a fire. And that was one of the biggest concerns. Mike is now looking at taking those GoCo funds. He's looking at widening the roads, making it easier for the fire trucks to get in the event that there would be a fire. It would make it safer for our homes and our residential communities, if that were be allowed to happen. I know that they've, again, worked hard to get those funds, and they've approved them to be able to make these improvements to the park. It'll be better experience for the people that are visiting the park. It would be better for Elbert County because people will enjoy being at the park. That'll bring more people, I think. And then it makes it safe for those of us that have homes that surround the park itself. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comment?
Gary Jones, 4449 Highway 86. I guess I have a question. I would, first off, I would agree with everything Lizanne said. I think that this is exceptional. I think you guys are looking to the future while preserving everything. I think it's great. My question to you, where are you moving the dumpster down?
You have to address it to.
I'm sorry.
Us.
Where is the dumpster being moved to?
Okay, if that's your question, then we can have the applicant do a rebuttal.
Okay, thank you. And that's my question. But thank you for moving the dumpster. That's awesome. Because for years it's been a problem, and in the last 2 years, they have done anything and everything to try and repair fence, because we're right there, and try and pick up trash that blows over and everything. So this is good. So thank you.
Okay.
Well, I can actually show you here in this map. Here's the access from State Highway 86. If you drive all the way to, here is south, to the north of the property, here is the new location for the dumpster. Does that make sense? The applicant, feel free to comment.
Okay, we covered? Okay. Is there any other comment? Okay, then I'll close public comment at this time, and we'll open it up to a board-only discussion. Starting with you, Eric.
Just to go back to the dumpster thing, it looks like access to get to that dumpster is going to be through the parking area over by the rodeo grounds, right? Because on the map it shows they're going to be 2 bollards with a chain and hardware on that access road, Laura, that you were pointing to. So is the dumpster going to be emptied and stuff by going in through by the Casey Jones Pavilion and then back on that road?
Yes, that's how it'll be emptied, right. Yes, the garbage truck won't drive through the campground. It'll come through Casey Jones Park, the pavilion, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Deanna?
It says on here that only a portion of them are gonna be full hookups, is that correct? Do you have a percentage?
Yeah, that is correct. I think there's, I don't know the exact number, but I think there's 5 of them that weren't able to connect just because of gravity. But we wanted to try to do all of them, but I think we're going to get all of them, but 4 or 5, yeah. And I mean, I could get back to you with the exact number if you like me to.
I was just wondering what the percentage was gonna be, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple questions for you. The dumpster on the north end, I'm relatively familiar with that. And during the stampede, that's fairly close to where the Sheriff's Department parks all their vehicles and where they have the command post. And it's fairly close to the main aisle where all the exhibits are. And it's also close to where the children's playground is. So
Ooh.
that's a little bit of a concern to me because it's that close to those areas. And
Yeah, well, the existing dumpster in the park now is actually right next to the playground, in between the rodeo arena, south of the rodeo arena, and it's actually right up next to the fence to the playground. So we'll be eliminating that dumpster. We'll be going into this enclosure as well, and it will be set off off of Vendor Row or Vendor Alley as we know it, and be able to be gated. So during an event like the Stampede, it will just be locked and it really won't be used because they bring in large dumpsters and other refuse containers to handle all the garbage for an event like that. But it will be, so essentially we'll have dumpsters farther away from the playground than we will have them now. They'll be catty corner across the parking lot from the playground.
Okay, so it's actually farther away than it exists right now.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, then I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move to recommend approval for Casey Jones Park, SUR, case number SU 22-18819, with the following conditions that are stated. Thanks.
Okay, so the motion was made by Danny and seconded by Eric. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion's passed. So that ends our public hearings for tonight, and thank you all for coming.
I move to adjourn.
So that's the next thing.
Second.
Okay, it's moved. We got a second and a third. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for all of your comments, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Peter, who made the motion to adjourn and seconded it? Okay.
Who seconded?
Thank you.